Hello everyone! Christmas is coming in 3 weeks and I think this is a perfect time for us to prepare Christmas fruitcake. So traditional Christmas fruitcake is a pound cake with lots of dry fruits and nuts, and usually after being baked, the cake is brushed with alcohol once or twice per week in 2 to 4 weeks so that it will get a moist and rich texture by Christmas. The version of fruitcake that I'm showing you today is slightly different from that because it has a fluffy and moist texture already after being baked, so we can eat it right away and there's no need to wait for 3 weeks to apply alcohol. So the first thing that we need to do is to prepare the dry fruits. You can choose any kinds of fruits you like. Here I go for raisins, cranberries and some dried apricots. If the fruits are too big, for example in my case the apricots are a little bit too big, we cut them into small pieces. I would say the same size as the raisins. Next, pour the alcohol of your choice into the bowl. We need enough alcohol that the fruits are completely submerged. Cover the bowl and let the fruits soak in alcohol for 12 to 48 hours. If you don't want to use alcohol, you can soak the fruits with warm water in 1 or 2 hours until they are a bit softened. When the fruits are already submerged, tip the mixture into a strainer with a bowl underneath to catch the liquor. We set the fruits aside so that they can get drier, and we save the liquor for later use. The next thing to prepare are the nuts. Again, you can choose any kinds of nuts that you like. I have walnuts, almonds and some pine nuts here. Chop them into small pieces. Scatter them on baking tray and roast in a preheated oven at 160 degrees C for about 5 to 7 minutes. This step helps to deepen the nuts flavor, but keep an eye on the nuts as they can be burnt if being left in the oven for too long. Before preparing the cake batter, preheat the oven to 160 degrees C. Add all of the butter into your mixing bowl, but make sure that the butter is already softened but not melted. We cream the butter with some salt at medium speed until the butter turns smooth. Then we start to add the sugar in, but only a small portion. And we want to beat until all of the sugar is incorporated into the butter before we add some more sugar. When all of the sugar has been added, raise the speed to high and continue beating until the butter is very fluffy and light. And while beating the butter, don't forget to turn off the mixer from time to time to scrape the butter off from the side of the bowl. Add the eggs into the bowl one at a time and beat at low speed until the egg is totally incorporated into the butter before adding the next one. And finally we can add in some flavors. Here I use some vanilla extract, almond essence and orange essence because I really like the combination of these three. Mix well and scrape the side of the bowl again. Sift into another bowl the flour, baking powder, cinnamon powder and ginger powder, and whisk well until everything is combined. Then combine the yogurt and make in a bowl. Separate this milk and yogurt mixture into 3 parts and the flour mixture into 4 parts. Sift the first quarter of the flour into the bowl and mix at low speed until just incorporated. We don't want to overmix the batter because it will make the cake dense and heavy. And then add 1/3 of the milk mixture and combine. Continue adding the flour and milk alternately until the last milk portion has been added to the batter and we have the last quarter of the flour mixture remained. Mix the fruits and nuts with this remaining flour so that the fruits and nuts are all covered by dry flour. Then transfer these fruits and nuts to the bowl of the cake batter and fold them in. Scrape the batter into a baking pan. If your pan is not a non-stick pan, don't forget to grease it with butter, then coat with flour so that the cake won't stick to your pan after being baked. Smooth the surface, and if you want, you can put some almonds on top to decorate the cake like I do in the video. As I still have some batter left, I think I can make some Christmas fruit cupcakes. Bake this cake at 160 degrees C for about 50 to 55 minutes, then at 150 degrees C for 10 minutes more. Rotate the pan after about 30 to 35 minutes so that the cake can be evenly baked. After about 35 minutes, my cupcakes are done, so I take them out of the oven and leave just a large cake pan there. I also use a sheet of aluminum foil to cover the top of my cake because it turned dark quite fast. And after about 65 to 70 minutes, when the skewer inserted into the cake center comes out clean and dry, we can take the cake out of the oven. Let the cake stay in the pan for 10 minutes before taking it out and let it cool completely on a rag. Do you remember the liquor from the dry fruits that we saved before? We're gonna use them here. So when the cake is too warm, then we brush all over the cake with the liquor, and believe me, this will enhance the flavor of the cake a lot. This cake can be eaten right away, but if you want to keep it in the fridge and apply more alcohol for some weeks, then my suggestion is to bake it for about 20 minutes longer. In that case, it will get drier and absorb more alcohol, and hence the flavor will be more developed. This is a cake that I made 4 weeks ago, and every week I let it drink alcohol at least twice. Would you like to try a piece?